We all love to talk about the all-time greats, who's better than who, same old debates every day of the year, the casual takes, who's gonna win MVP, or what team's going to be the next dynasty. With the greatness of LeBron, Steph and KD era dwindling down, finding their teams around the play-in race, a couple young stars have the potential leading their team to the next dynasty, but unfortunately, there will always be one champion every season. Some of those promising squads, in fact, never end up winning any titles, leaving their superstars ringless when their careers set in stone. A bunch of NBA greats this century already falling victim from what appeared to look like a potential dynasty team, having all the time in the world to constant playoff disappointments, heartbreaks, unfortunate incidents. The next thing you know, the franchise's short time amongst the top dissipated into endless rebuilds, fan bases dreaming about the good old days, being so close at the crucial moments, only to be left wondering for ages. These 5 NBA teams were destined to become the next dynasty, but sadly failed to even win a title during their contending spans this century. Starting with the early to mid 2000s, Sacramento Kings started with the Rochester Royals, won a title back in 1951 before becoming the Cincinnati Royals, leading to the Oscar Robertson days, then the Kansas City Omaha Kings to just the Kansas City Kings until 1985. First 15 seasons in Sacramento, bottom tier of the Western Conference throughout the 90s, led by Mitt Richmond. The hiring of former Great Blazers head coach who's been to 2 finals, Rick Adelman, changed everything. Before we give our praise to the great Mike Bibby, Peja, and Chris Webbers of the world, keep in mind, before Mike Brown finally led the franchise to a 17-year playoff drought, it was Adelman the only head coach to lead Sacramento to the playoffs every one of his 8 seasons, previously 0-29 without Rick for 2023, thanks to executive Jeff Petrie. After trading Richmond and Otis Dork to Washington for former number 1 pick Chris Webber, Charlotte's free agent Vlade Divac signed with the Kings, led to the team's 96 draftee Peja Stojakovic to finally come play ball in the US. Under Adelman's first season, the franchise changed overnight. Many people in the East Coast and around the world only remember the capital of California being Sacramento due to the Sacramento Kings' success. The lockout year, 6th seed, took the 2-time defending Western Conference champs, needed one stop to eliminate the almighty Malone and Stockton. The legendary point guard drained the go-ahead game winner. Sacramento another crack at it. Game 5, Divac's airball hook shot in regulation led to an overtime loss. Despite falling a decisive 5th game, the Kings put the NBA on notice. Webber about to enter his prime, lost first round to the 2000 Lakers. Adelman's Princeton offense, with his quick style and strong ball movement, implementing backdoor cuts with the best passing front line of Webber and Divac, a breath of fresh air in the stagnated heavy ISO era due to Sacramento's bad defense, allowing the Lakers scoring 117, 113, and 113 in the 3 losses. Traded starting small forward Corliss Williamson for Raptors defensive specialist Doug Christie. Also opened up for young Stojakovic to start at the 3. Peja proceeded to finish number 2 for most improved player, signed free agent Bobby Jackson, and drafted Turkey's Hedo Turkoglu. Both excellent bench contributors, the very good Kings became great all of a sudden, won 55 games, Webber an all-star starter and MVP candidate, Divac made it as a reserve. Franchise won its first playoff series in Sacramento, beating Phoenix, but swept by the powerful Kobe and Shaq's Lakers. Team gambled, trading flashy point guard Jason Williams for Vancouver's Mike Bibby, looking to solve his turnover problems, poor shot selection, and getting better on D. Some Kings fans hated the move at the time, but proven to be one of the most important trades in franchise history, easily having the best team in 2002, a league best 61 wins, 7 players averaged double figures. Peja became an all-star, a perfect lineup assembled, first in defensive boards, second in scoring, rebounding, field goal percentage, 4th in assists, 3rd in steals, 44 and 7 when scoring 100 plus points. All of a sudden, the favorites to win it all coming into the playoffs, a 3rd straight postseason matchup with the Lakers inevitable. Given the weak East, whoever to come out of the West was guaranteed champs, leading to the most controversial series in NBA history. After running through Utah and Dallas, questionable officiating decisions, After a 2-1 series lead, jumped out to a 24-point advantage. Game 4, Samaki Walker's Hail Mary to end the half counted when proven ball still in his hands. The league then instituted instant replay following season, giving LA a break, leading to the famous Robert Horry's game winner. After a Mike Bibby go-ahead jumper winning Game 5, the biggest absolute travesty in Kings history, May 31st, 2002, LA made 5 baskets, 21 free throws, 4th quarter alone, a Kobe elbow to Bibby, non-call, way too many screw-ups. I won't go into the full details on this video. Franchise felt robbed from advancing to the finals, resulting in a Game 7 overtime Kings loss. Many complained about this series years later. The popular big market Lakers, with 2 of the biggest superstars, drew all the attention and league revenue. Way too many conspiracy theories to get into. Following season, same talent, everyone on the floor could pass and shoot. The improvements of young Gerald Wallace and Turkoglu off the bench, easily the most complete team for the 2nd straight year, won 59 games with Bibby missing 27, easily knocked off Super Old Malone and Stockton's Jazz, ending that era. Then faced the 60-win Mavericks round 2, a series that changed Chris Webber and the franchise forever. Game 2, 3rd quarter of a blowout loss, Webber unfortunately blew out his knee. Without his best player, team fell to Dallas in 7 games. Losing a top 10 player like that, a huge gut punch, opened the door for Tim Duncan carrying the Spurs by himself, not having to play the most stacked team at his best. Webber's injury led him to coming back. The following season post All-Star break was never the same, lost tons of athleticism. Team traded Turkoglu in a 3-team trade, got back All-Star Brad Miller, a great big to replace Webber's absence. Stojakovic would have his best season, finished 4th for MVP. Team actually went 44-15 without C-Webb, 11-12 with him. Despite elite offense, defense declined without a deep bench. Many believe Webber disrupted team chemistry, knocked off Dallas round 1 before falling to prime KG's Timberwolves in the close 7. A missed game tying 3 by Webber officially ended the window for Sacramento's greatness. C-Webb traded the following year, 2 straight first-round exits follow, led to an endless rebuild. Those Kings could have easily been a dynasty and three-peated from 2002 to 2004 if things went their way. The Steve Nash and Amar'e Stoudemire 7 seconds or less offense Phoenix Suns, a combination of a cheap selfish owner, a cheap shot drawn by an opposing player, and failed trade pieces, the Steve Nash Suns became the NBA's media darling. After a blistering start in the 04-05 season, 30-year-old free agent Nash wasn't even supposed to become a franchise changer, leading to the most improbable MVP all-time, part of a rebuilding team. Young Shawn Marion and Amar'e Stoudemire, after trading Stephon Marbury, the 29-win Suns transformed into the most elite offense overnight, ran teams off the floor, ferocious style of pace. Nash and Amar'e, unstoppable pick and roll duo. 23-year-old Joe Johnson, terrific bucket getter. 3-point champion Quentin Richardson, with a do-it-all matrix well-versed Shawn Marion. Off the bench, Leandro Barbosa, Jimmy Jackson, D'Antoni Coach of the Year, Brian Colangelo Executive of the Year, 62 wins, best record, swept Pau Gasol's Grizz round 1. Nash destroying his former team in the semis, averaged over 30 points on 54, 42, 96 shooting splits, a game-tying bucket game 6, eliminated his former superstar teammate. But Joe Johnson, who never missed a game for Phoenix before Jerry Stackhouse fouled, fractured a bone in his left eye, missed the next 6 games, didn't return till Game 3, conference finals versus the Spurs, the best defensive team, stole 2 games on the road. Phoenix losing his first 2, then falling Game 3 and the series in 5. San Antonio and Detroit proved defense still won championships. Phoenix elected to not match Atlanta's offer of Johnson, got Boris Diaw, Eddie House, signed Raja Bell, Brian Grant, and James Jones, traded Q Rich for Kurt Thomas, no Amar'e for basically the whole season with knee injury. Nash still led the team to 54 wins, won his 2nd straight MVP. Diaw most improved player, overcoming 2 7-game series versus the Lakers and Clippers, took 2 games from Dallas before losing in the conference finals. Phoenix overachieving without Stoudemire, optimism all-time high for the 07 season. Team went on to win 61 games, a 17 and 15 game win streak at one point, easily beating the Lakers in 5 games before facing their arch rival San Antonio. Nash had to be subbed out most of the final minutes game 1 with a bloody nose, lost a nail biter on his way to winning game 4. The infamous Amar'e heat check, having Amar'e and Diaw getting off the bench even though they were briefly on the court, led to a 1-game suspension. San Antonio won the next 2, closing out the controversial series, one that would have guaranteed the 2007 champions. Since 67 when Dallas upset in round 1, getting past a young Utah Jazz and 22-year-old LeBron were gonna be cakewalks. Sean Marion, later tired of trade rumors linked to Kevin Garnett potentially joining the team, failed contract negotiations with Cheap Sarver. Team still dominated. Number 1 in the West, 34 and 14, demanded out, traded for an aging Shaq, won 55 games, but once again lost to San Antonio round 1 thanks to a Duncan game-tying 3, and Parker having the series of his career. D'Antoni took his talents to New York, defensive-minded Terry Porter took over, a bad decision from Kerr, Nash not the same in Terry's system, Bell and Diaw demanded out, traded to Charlotte, landing athletic scorer Jason Richardson. Amar'e's late season-ending injury, Porter getting fired, replaced by Alvin Gentry, former assistant under D'Antoni's staff. Suns went back to his original system. Despite 46 wins, failed to make the playoffs in the loaded West, got rid of old Shaq, picked up Channing Frye, resigned Grant Hill. No contract talks with Stoudemire, becoming a free agent summer 2010. Kerr concerned of his knees, wanting to trade him. Team won 54 games, one last hurrah. Easily beat Portland round 1 before finally getting over the hump, surprisingly sweeping San Antonio. Thanks to Goran Dragic's greatness, Gentry basically took D'Antoni's offense and Porter's defensive philosophies combined in one, leading to a showdown with the defending champion Lakers. Series tied 2-2, relentless offensive rebounding led to Jason Richardson's game-tying banker, but 3.5 seconds too early. The physical Ron Artest muscled Richardson away for a rebound in the paint, leading to the game-winning layup. Suns tried to stay afloat game 6, but Kobe just too good, officially ended the Nash-Amar'e Suns era once and for all. Another mistake due to Sarver's incompetency, trading draft picks away for cash despite picking up impressive talents like Luol Deng, Nate Robinson, and Rajon Rondo. The former regime angered Suns fans for years. A combination of Joe Johnson's broken eye, stats bad knees, the Game 5 suspensions, Duncan hitting his first 3-point shot of the 08 season, and Kobe's greatness. The Suns franchise remains ringless to this very day. The Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, OKC Thunder, drafting each future MVP one by one, not offering Harden more money, destroyed a potential dynasty, being over the cap, team elected to decide, keeping the all-defensive Serge Ibaka, signed 4 years 48, already having extended Kendrick Perkins right after the Jeff Green trade, got 4 years 36. Having the beard remain eventually meant getting rid of role players, serving a bench role with 2 premier offensive players, the Big Three, 23, 23, and 22 years old, after losing in the 2012 finals. OKC already shocked the world, make the conference finals by 2011. Even the Vegas favorite versed the Heat after eliminating red-hot San Antonio, 4 straight wins. All 3 stars showcased their greatness, but fell to a more experienced, hungry Miami team all in their primes. Spoelstra heavily outcoached Scott Brooks, a time before Steph Curry was even relevant. OKC was supposed to be what Golden State became. Even after Harden left, team won 60 games 2013, Russ tears his meniscus round 1, second round exit. 2014, MVP Durant fell to the eventual champion Spurs, a competitive game 6. 2015, KD missed most of the season, no playoffs. 2016 supposed to be the year, but too much one-on-one hero ball, missed shots and turnovers, blew a 3-1 lead to the team Durant joined it weeks after. Westbrook would have his individual accolades, but no playoff series won since. Now the mid-2020s, Sam Presti, a chance to do things right this time around, a potential dynasty in the making. The Chicago Bulls, under young superstar Derrick Rose, lived up to the hype and more, having the right players, the relentless Joakim Noah and Luol Deng, not the most talent on paper. After 2 straight 500 seasons, added Carlos Boozer, hired coach Tom Thibodeau. 22-year-old Rose then became the youngest MVP, a league best 62 wins, became the most exciting superstar in the league, unselfish team, everybody brought in, outworked their opponents, well-conditioned guys who play hard, no egos, 11 in offense, number 1 defense, often led by Rose's abilities to fly down the court after getting a stop. Half-court offense had Boozer working on the post after dismantling the Pacers and Hawks, a conference finals berth versus Miami's Big Three, defensive battle, team's offensive flaws too much of a gap to overcome, drafted Jimmy Butler 30th weeks after, signed 33-year-old Rip Hamilton from the Pistons, the 66-game season, 50 wins, best record for a second straight year. Despite Rose missing 27 games, the ACL tear game 1, still one of the worst moments in NBA history, ruined the team's chances for good. Miami needed every ounce of greatness to beat Boston that year. Many believe the Bulls had what it took. Rose missed the entire 2013 season. Team won 45 games, went to the semis, anticipated for a huge comeback 2014. With the much improved Jimmy Butler, more injuries occurred, tore meniscus November, another huge setback, 10 games played. The hard work of young Jimmy, prime Joakim, and prime Taj Gibson with Kurt Heinrich led to 48 wins. Had Rose never gotten hurt, these Bulls were on their way to possibly winning multiple titles. Team never had enough offense to truly contend. Rose became 30% of his former self, played 51 games 2015 season, averaged under 18 points. Butler became an all-star with addition Pau Gasol. Imagine a version of 2011 Derrick Rose with the 2015 roster. Got eliminated by Cleveland in 6 after beating Milwaukee. Franchise fired Thibodeau. Hasn't been the same since, given the multiple All-Stars after 2011. Outside of Rose, didn't align with his MVP season. Can you imagine how much better Rose would have gotten? If he stayed healthy, the Bulls would have been a real threat to win it all between 2012 to 2015. The Brooklyn Nets 2021 to present, biggest what if all time, an absolute travesty of a disgusting failure, a disgrace of a super team, not so happy ending, absolutely pretending, superstars renting, new policies inventing, vaccines not consenting, new ways to miss games preventing. A total failure, nobody defending. Big 3, 16 total games played, a basketball circus. Hard to imagine this time Jordan the NBA actually existed. The could have, would have, should have, wasted all-time great offensive talent, just a year and a half together, unhappy guys, trade demands, a colossal of a failure. Made GM Sean Marks lose all his good reputation overnight. Kyrie, the first to sign, already had conflicts, ended his tenure with Boston as a bad locker room guy. KD coming off an Achilles tear, wasted 2020 season. The two didn't get along with Kenny Atkinson, handpicked Steve Nash in replacement, traded many pieces for Harden. The three's greatness undeniable when all playing, leading to aging former stars on their last legs. LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, ring chasing, destroyed Boston round 1. Everything looked perfect until unluckiness. Few seconds into game 1 Bucks series, Harden hurt his hamstring, Joe Harris big choke job, Kyrie's ankles landing on Giannis, a hobble Harden dragged out game 5, had a grade 2 hamstring strain. KD pulled off the miracle game 5 win before his big foot interfered with the line. Final seconds of game 7, had nothing left in OT. Durant later opted in. More disasters to come. With New York's COVID mandate, Kyrie banned to play. Had there never been such a ridiculous policy, perhaps Harden would have continued playing for Brooklyn, became out of shape to start the season. Joe Harris lost for the year after 14 games, and Irving's unavailability gave heavy loss to Durant, who got hurt January, missed 27 total games, whole team collapsed, even had an 11-game losing streak. Harden purposely gave up, traded for the useless, pathetic, mentally damaged Ben Simmons, swept round 1 to Boston. Both Irving and Durant traded February 2023. A combination of players, management, and ownership not seeing eye to eye. One off-court distractions after another, a downfall of many factors, multiple parties deserves blame, franchise now irrelevant in the NBA. Honorable mentions include Steve Nash, and Dirk Nowitzki's Mavs, when the NBA started to change draw in the mid-2000s, both did their things, going their separate ways, but to Nowitzki's credit, eventually broke through, winning one of the hardest titles all time 7 years after Nash's departure. CP3 and Blake Griffin's Lob City Clippers were never considered a threat to become a dynasty, but were supposed to win a title and contend for more, never got past round 2 together. Which one of these teams had the most heartbreaking end when things were said and done? Sacramento's getting screwed by the refs, or Phoenix getting screwed by big shot Robert Horry? To be fair, many greats retire ringless thanks to Horry making winning plays for his team. Which one of these future young teams today might look like a future dynasty, but don't end up winning a title in the next 5 years? Your thoughts on the comments below. See you next time.